Jared Allen Ortega coming to you from Off the Grid at the Cosmic Cloud Studios in Crestone, Colorado, 8,000 feet above sea level, where we take the energy from the sun and the Wi-Fi from the sky to bring you this broadcast wherever you are watching. Thank you for tuning in. Today I have a special show in store for you today. I'm going to show you how I actually turn sun power into fun power. And what I mean by that is, how do I take the sunshine and turn it into the energy I need to create this broadcast and to power my equipment and everything else I need to survive out off the grid. Information is also great for you in case you find yourself in an emergency situation where you need power, natural disasters, or if your power grid goes down for any reason, you're without power for several days. This will show you how you yourself can become energy independent like I have, so that you can have the energy you need when you need it, where you need it. So let's get right into it. To understand solar power, we first must look to nature. This is a sunrise time-lapse that I captured this past winter. You can see there's still snow on the ground and the plants look brown and dead, but they're not. This is something that nature does every day almost effortlessly. It takes the energy of the sun and converts it into food for itself in a process known as photosynthesis. The plant's leaves act like mini solar panels, reaching out as far as they can to collect as much sunlight as they can. The more sunlight that they collect, the more food it can make for itself, and the bigger the plant can ultimately be. This is a simple demonstration to show you how you can harness the power of the sun. Everybody knows you can take a magnifying glass and burn things with it. I like to light my herbal cigarettes this way. No lighter, no problem. As long as you have some sunshine, you get the same result. And again, learning from nature. We're doing the exact same thing that nature is doing and that the solar panel right next to me is doing by collecting the sunlight and directing it into places that you want it. Now, this is a photography lens ball. You can get the same result, magnifying the sunshine, directing it where you want to. It is a powerful tool. You can burn yourself using these things, so be careful. I almost feel like photography lens balls or spherical lenses are going to be the future of solar technology. You can essentially have one of these in place of a solar panel. It just magnifies the sunshine and directs it into your battery system. I would love to have these one day in the future, but we're not quite there yet. So here, this is my workhorse solar panel that I have out on the deck of the studio. This is a 175 watt flat solar panel. It's about the thickness of a cardstock piece of paper. It's on a thin nylon pad. It weighs about 2 pounds, hardly anything. I have it zip tied to the deck here. And you can see in the background is the larger ground-mounted solar array. That's more of a microgrid. It provides power to the rest of the eco-farm. But today we're just going to talk about this smaller one-panel setup. Here is the behind the scenes of the solar panel. On the left you have the positive charge, and on the right you have the negative charge. The solar panel is turning the photons from the sun into electrons, which then are carried in these cables to the center charge controller, which regulates all of the energy coming in and eventually stores it into your battery. Flashing green lights means everything is running nominally, and all of those electrons are traveling through those cables and down into my battery system here. Now, it is important to note that anytime you're working with electricity, you always have to keep your positive and negative cables separated. Be sure to always label positive and negative cables, otherwise you could end up sparking or electrocuting yourself or others. It is very dangerous, so be sure to always label your cables positive and negative. Once the battery is charged, I call this harvesting sunlight. I take the full battery and I simply put it into my little DIY power bank here. Now, this is just a simple wooden box that I found at a garage sale, but you can use pretty much anything, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But inside the box, it's a really simple setup. Basically, I just have my power inverter, which we use to pull the power from the battery in order to use it. You put your positive clamp onto the positive node and the negative clamp onto the negative node of the battery. And here is my 400 watt inverter. You can see, turn it on, and that's how it's done. You turn sunlight into usable power this way. This 400 watt inverter has 4 USB charging ports and 2 AC charging ports. It's all I need for my devices. I don't use much more power than that. But if you and your devices require more power, you're going to need a bigger power inverter, as well as some bigger batteries. But I just like this little DIY box that I made. I found it again at a garage sale for $5. It's got a nice handle and locks on it. But you really can't use anything. This is your standard ice chest that you can find at your local grocery store or convenience store. The idea is still the same. You're just putting the battery that has all of your solar energy collected into it with your power inverter. Again, positive to positive, negative to negative. And you're ready to go. You're using solar energy wherever you need it. This is my good friend, Mr. Odin. He is also a big fan of solar power, as you can see. And he is a good boy.
Thanks for showing up, man.
Thanks, Odin. Again, this is just a cheap DIY version of a power bank. I do love this box because of the locks and the handle, but again, you can use anything. You could also go out and buy yourself a power bank from a company, but you're usually going to end up spending several thousands of dollars for the same result, which is basically just a battery in a box with an inverter. Here you can see I'm plugging in my camera and my monitor charger. Red light on the GoPro means that it's charging. So what you're looking at is my mobile setup so that I can collect solar power wherever and at all times. This is actually the first solar panel I ever purchased back in 2015. I think I paid about $150 for it at the time. They're now much cheaper for 100 watts. You can get them closer to $100 or less. This is a thicker metal frame that I like to travel with because things bounce around in the van and I don't have to worry about the panel being damaged as much as I would with the thinner nylon solar panel that I have. I've got my battery connected to my solar charge controller, which is connected to the solar panel so that I can take all of the sunlight that I'm collecting and store it here in this lithium-ion battery. Now I want to take a minute to talk about the differences in battery technology. So the lithium-ion battery, which you see here on the left, that's the new generation of battery technology. It is leaps and bounds above the old lead-acid battery that you see here on the right, the Duralast Gold, which is considered your typical car battery, or in this case, a lawnmower battery. Now there's several key differences here. Now the Duralast lead-acid battery you can pick up at your local auto store for about 50 bucks, and it'll get you about 300 to 400 life cycles, meaning you fill it up and drain it 300 to 400 times. It is a bit bigger, a bit heavier, but it is cheaper. It's a good way to start out. But I would highly recommend at this point in time going for the lithium-ion technology. The lithium-ion battery stores exponentially more power even though it's smaller and lighter, and it gets way more life cycles. We're talking 8,000 life cycles on this small lithium-ion battery compared to 300 to 400 on the lead-acid Duralast batteries. So huge discrepancies between capacities. But again, the lead-acid is going to be much cheaper, about $50, and the lithium-ion I paid about $130 for that one online. So why is the lithium-ion battery better? Well, I can charge my laptop and devices for about a month. That's about 30 days versus about 7 days on average with the lead-acid Duralast. It is well worth spending the extra money, so please do if you can. This battery will last you a lot longer. So taking a look from the top here, you can see the size difference. The Duralast is much thicker, and as you can see, it's much heavier. The Duralast probably weighs close to 10 or 15 pounds, whereas the lithium-ion weighs about 2 pounds. It's much lighter. Again, it all works the same way. You connect your inverter to the battery, and you're ready to use the solar energy that you've just collected. And there it is, full circle. That's how you take the energy of the sun and store it into batteries, which you can then use whenever you want, wherever you want. I like to think of it as plugging into the sun. Switch on, lights, camera, and action. That's how I use all of the solar power that I've just collected to charge the devices that record the video that I then edit on this laptop here and then broadcast out to you using sun power and turning it into fun power. This is a wind sensor from my weather station that tells me how fast the wind is traveling. This is also completely solar powered as well as the rest of the weather station. This is a great use of the solar power that I'm collecting to be able to charge and power my weather station so that I can keep track of what's going on outside. It comes in handy, especially in emergency situations where the weather is turning bad. I can actually keep track of the weather and even make forecast predictions based on that information, all of which, again, is solar powered. It's a good way to keep track of the weather, especially as things change so quickly. We get hit with a lot of different types of storms out here. It's something I do every day. I march out into the desert all by myself, fight the elements, the bugs, the heat, the smoke. Crestone is a gorgeous place. I'm lucky and grateful that I'm here every single day to be able to harness the alchemy of nature. And what we're doing is no different from what the plants already do, which is take the sunlight and turn it into beautiful flowers. I like to think of this broadcast as somewhat of a digital flower created using solar power. And so bringing this information to you wherever you are in the world is a really special and spectacular thing. And it's all because of the sunshine that we get every single day. Now I just wanted to show you the bigger ground-mounted solar array. This one, of course, is much bigger, collects a lot more power, and is a lot more expensive. I'll have more information on this in later videos in the future, but for now I just wanted to show you the differences in the size of solar panel technology, starting from the small portable all the way to the larger microgrid style solar panel systems that can actually provide enough power for a small community of people, as well as powering your entire home and everything you need. So again, this system is going to be much more expensive. I'm talking $20,000 and up just for the panels and the system alone. You also have to consider the battery storage. It takes a lot more battery storage to be able to collect all of that sun power, which does get a lot more expensive. So not necessarily DIY, but just something to look forward to as you start this journey to becoming more energy independent like I have. So there you have it. I can't stress enough the importance of having your own solar system, no matter how big or small, and it doesn't have to break the bank. You can buy it piece by piece like I did with my first system back in 2015. It ended up costing me about $300. Today in 2021, you can buy that same system for about $200 or less. And it's useful not only in emergency situations or if the power at your house goes out, but also because we're given so much sunshine every single day, and you can do so much with it if you just collect it and store it like I've done here to make you this video. So if you found any of this valuable, please like, subscribe, and donate. The links are down below. I'm Jared Allen Ortega coming to you from Off the Grid at Cosmic Cloud Studios in Crestone, Colorado. Much love and be well.